I've worked hard to find a path to compromise. It's obvious. Compromise is not good enough for a lot of my colleagues in Congress. It's all or nothing. And their position doesn't seem to change unless we agree to everything. Enough is enough.
Are you kidding me, Joe Manchin? I mean, look, he knows what he is doing. He is trying to needle you. He is poking you. He's spitting in your face. Manchin says compromise isn't good enough for some of my comrades there. He's saying progressives, Nina Turner. He's saying progressives aren't okay with compromise. They have given literally trillions upon trillions of dollars for a guy who got into office with the vote of about 0.1% of the US population, but they're the ones that aren't okay with compromise.
Yeah, you talk about don't look at the man behind the curtain. That's what that speech was. I mean, it truly, truly was the gall. He has lots of it. They want it all. So standing up to say that we need to expand Medicare is about wanting it all. And even just saying, can we make sure that the elders who have it right now get hearing aids and vision and dental? That's wanting it all. Making sure that we have that we make 2-year college free in this country. That's about having it all. Making sure that people have paid family leave. That's about having it all. The man is mad. Okay, there is no other way to describe his condition. It is madness at its worst. He represents one of the poorest states in the United States of America. And the last time I checked, there are poor, working poor, and barely middle class people that live in that state. John, these people cannot be shamed, because if he was ashamed, he wouldn't have dare walked up to any microphone to spew that BS he was just talking. So again, it's the man behind the curtain that he's doing. And it's really shameful that President Manchin, because that's what he is, because everything so far has been to his will, John. I mean, tell me, what hasn't he gotten that he wanted? And now he wants them to slow down. Now that they are going to pass that bipartisan infrastructure bill, he got the nerve to tell them to slow down on everything else because he got to get an understanding. Man, you ain't been seeking understanding for the last 8 months?
Yep. No, and he's talking about compromise. It is so clear he is just trying to kill a reconciliation bill. That's all that he's trying to do. Don't talk to me about compromise. And look, it's such a weird, I'm almost happy that he is at least speaking on video about what he wants, because for months and months they refused to do this. But it's not like he's really speaking to his constituents. We are in such an unrepresentative democracy that he, just by his very nature, doesn't represent them. This is an incredibly wealthy guy, literally owns a coal company. How he can get elected in West Virginia boggles my mind. But now he's there. He's probably never gonna be taken out, and he knows that full well. He will leave when he is good and ready to leave and go join some corporate board and make even more millions of dollars every year than he does now. But along the way, he is going to do as much damage as possible. It is insane that we have a system where one guy who doesn't give a damn can keep trillions in dollars of aid from the American people, but that is the system we have. And that's not enough for him. The injury is the trillions of dollars. The insult is him spitting on your face with that video right there, talking about compromise.
There it is. Again, masterful. I mean, he sounds just like a Republican.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
It's the first time ever for him to sound like that. Anyway,
right, how that works.
Yeah, he says a bunch of other nonsense, blah, blah, blah. It's consequential on our national debt. By the way, they scored the bipartisan bill, and it adds $250 billion to the deficit. He was asked about that. He's like, well, no, I mean, but it makes jobs and stuff like that. Oh, okay, so it's fine when the one that you like, that's in favor of corporations and helps privatize some public land, that one can add to the deficit. But for some reason with the reconciliation one, if it involves your granddad getting new teeth, suddenly that costs something. We can't have that. And there's a bunch of other nonsense. Anyway, I want to get to Cori Bush and what she had to say about that, because I value her words about 1 billion times more than Joe Manchin's. She said Joe Manchin's opposition to the Build Back Better Act is anti-black, anti-child, anti-woman, and anti-immigrant. When we talk about transformative change, we are talking about a bill that will benefit Black, brown, and indigenous communities. Those same communities are overwhelmingly excluded from the bipartisan infrastructure bill. We cannot leave anyone behind. And she's right, but that's the direction they're moving in. It feels almost inevitable at this point, like it was always gonna move in that direction. And I hope, to jump ahead, Ilhan Omar says they're not like reneging on their promise to do both bills together. It seemed yesterday like they were. Now she's saying that they're not going to. I like Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar's also not in charge, so God only knows what's gonna end up happening. It might come, Representative Omar, it might come to you having to vote against it then. Because again, it's not up to you necessarily when they do the vote. But Nina, what do you think at this point? I mean, you've been watching some of what they've been saying. Do you think that they will hold to that it's both bills or nothing?
I don't know. I mean, I hope Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is right. Definitely, Congresswoman Cori Bush is laying it out there like it is. No holds barred, just telling the absolute truth about who is going to be impacted, who continues to bear the brunt of systemic failures in this country. So I'm so glad that she just laid it out. She didn't make nice with it. She just put it out there for all to see. It's crystal clear. John, I do not know. I do sincerely hope that the progressives hold the line. You gotta get something for your vote. Why is it that Shadow President Joe Manchin and Shadow Vice President Sinema get to run everything, and then they change spots depending on what the day is and what the issue is? Why do those two get that to dictate the future of this country? And these two extraordinary bills that would do so much to lift people and change those material conditions that we talked about, a material condition, being able to get a hearing aid, going to the dentist, dealing with your vision, making sure you have paid family leave, all of those things that are in, making sure the child tax credit is extended beyond a year. I mean, what in the world is happening? I just don't get it. And if the overwhelming majority of Democrats are for these things, as we are being told, then what gives? That's the question I won't answer, John.
Well, what gives is our democracy, I guess.
I just don't know. So I really do want the progressives to hold the line, or at least get some stuff done by executive order or something, so you can stand before the people and say, I voted for this watered down nonsense, even though it has some good things in it, because we do have to admit that. But see, that's how they get us. They always want to get us right there. It has some good things in it. That for the moment we are in, that bill is really inadequate. And both things can be true at the same time, John. Am I right? Both things can be true.
Totally.
That there are some good things in it and that it is both inadequate for this moment. Yeah. That is the moral of the story right now. So if Democrats are in control and they want to do all of these wonderful things that the American people deserve, then why do we allow two people? You know what? Because there's more than two people. The others are hiding behind these two people.
Definitely.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.